I said, if you start this business right now and all hell breaks loose and it goes absolutely tits up and you lose everything, more than likely, even if you was to leave your job, you'd probably end up starting again with something that pays you even more.
You have 24 hours in a day. 8 hours is for sleep. 8 hours is for work. Try and dedicate some of that 8 hours to be learning.
So firstly, you need a vision. Then you now need an ethos, right? Your ethos being...
It's hire fast, fire fast. And the reason why I used to think that...
Your mission as a business, right? Where do you guys want to go? Because...
It's the talent that's going to elevate your business, not you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the best flipping YouTube show in the world, in the ether, in the space, in the galacticum of infinity. The Unplug Podcast. And if you're joining us for the first time, firstly, make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing, right? And if you don't know who we are, we help people unplug from societal norms so they can live life on their own terms.
Indeed, we are for those who want to level up in life. If you're feeling stagnant, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling confused, this is the channel for you.
Let's go. Bro, how have you been, man?
Yeah, I've been not too bad. It's been a bit of a slow start to 2026 just because I went away.
How was that?
Yeah, it was nice. It was good to kind of, I always like to just get away out of my normal environment just to gather my thoughts, clear my head. Life is 110 miles per hour when I'm home in London doing a million and one things. If it's not running a business, kids, family, it's something. It's always something. So yeah, getting away was nice. Just time to myself, think, create a plan, refresh, and come back strong, man. So yeah, no, all good, man. What about yourself?
That's good. Yeah, I've been good. I've been really struggling. Don't get me wrong, I've been very productive. I've been doing work. Business is good, by all God's grace. But the same level of like gym discipline that I had the whole last 3 months or like Q4, I'm struggling to kind of really get back. I've been like waking up very late. Like
that was going to be my next question. Why is that? You've got to get to the root of the problem.
Obviously, I'm doing stupid stuff. I'm staying up late. Like stuff that doesn't need to be done now, I'm doing now. Do you get what I mean?
Why?
Like, I'm just getting back into old habits.
Why? Let's find the root cause.
Why am I getting old to... I feel like I've just... I don't... Maybe I'm not planning.
Okay.
I'm not planning. I think that's what it is.
We found it.
Yeah. This is good. This is therapy stuff.
We found it, bro. We found it.
I think I'm not planning.
Okay.
I'm not planning my days or my weeks. I used to do that a lot. Now that I'm thinking back, I'm not planning. I used to know like what I was doing, but now it's like very reactive to what I'm doing. And like I said, although like business is good, everything is well, but I'm just like, I'm not like myself. I feel like I'm losing so much of the day, and because I'm losing so much of the day, I'm working so much later, and it just has like a
knock-on effect.
Domino effect. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I really like, I kind of said like, the rest of this week, I really just want to sort of like focus. I want to go to bed early, and sometimes I'm getting a bit restless sometimes, but like I go to bed early so I can really sort of crack on, get back into that sort of like health regime of where I was like training earlier in the morning, etc. But other than that, no, I'm blessed.
Cool.
I'm happy.
Good.
But thanks for that. I feel that's going to be massively beneficial. But before we get into the topic of conversation, right, I had a bit of a would you rather, right? So, would you ghost your significant other for 30 days without any notice, but you'd get 10 million, but you couldn't tell them until after the fact? So you would just have to ghost your whole significant other. Let's remove kids out the works out of it as well. So just you and your partner. Would you ghost them?
So they wouldn't hear from me for 30 days?
Family, no one. Like they go to family and say, where's John? I don't know.
Probably not. Just because of what it could potentially do to the relationship after that. Like, they will feel they can't trust you.
True.
Like, I feel for me, there's just certain things that it's not even worth the headache. Like, it's great to have the money, and in theory it sounds great, but just what that could potentially do to the relationship, how they act towards you. like their family saying, "Oh, I can't believe he did that." Like, is that someone you can really trust?
Okay, you went
Just
deep,
like, bro, these are the things you need to think about. Like, of course I would, 10 million, but like for me, where I'm at, to do something like that and the knock-on effect, it's just not even worth it. Bro.
Yeah, no, I can't lie. I think I retract my initial. I didn't think that far.
You come back and your partner hates you, bro. You don't have a relationship.
I just
bro.
thought about the part where the money lands my account still. But yeah, cool. But guys, let us know. Would you ghost your significant other for 30 days? Yes or no? Let us know in the comment section,
I think
please.
you're dead on that. Cashing out on wheels and that.
Literally. So what I really wanted to sort of discuss in today's episode is just much more, less regrets, but much more if you had a redo button and you could do your whole last 5 years of business, what would you do differently? Right. And I feel like this would be a very, very good episode as a lessons learned or as a feedback for those who are actually now just starting their businesses in the new year, whether it be in our line of work or not in our line of work. Like a lot of businesses have a lot of transferable characteristics or skills even to that person. So firstly, before we even dive in, it would be kind of good just for some new members of the audience to actually find out what is it that you and I both do for business or for work and how we actually make a livelihood. So it's the same thing. Give you a hint, but yeah, you want to crack on?
So for me, obviously in London, I run what's called a serviced accommodation business. So for those of you who don't know what that means, is I rent out houses and apartments to leisure guests, tourist guests, businesses, whether that be for 1 night, 2 nights, a month, 3 months, 6 months, and differently to say how a normal rental would work, where you rent out a property for the month and you charge by the month. I rent out my properties by the day, so I charge a nightly rate. And the reason why I do that is because in doing that, it allows you to make more money. So for example, if a 2-bed in London rents for, let's say, £3,000 a month, and I charge £200 a night, if I rent out that property for 15 days, I think it is, I would have broken even. But if I rent out the property longer than that, I make profit. So that is basically the business model. So that's what I do. That's my main business. And then the second thing that I do is I run a consultancy where I teach people how to grow and scale their business. So how they go from just maybe starting their business to building a 6-figure business. So consultancy.
Good. Myself, again, very much on the same front as John, but I cover nationwide. But other than that, very much the same principle as a service accommodation or property relocation business. On the second side, I also do have a educational or consultant business where I also support newbies or working professionals get started into property. Right, so you guys have a feel about what we do. Check our Instas and you can see a bit of the day to day. Right, but my first thing, right. So when you first start, when did you start your business? Your property business. The
property business. Well, 2008. But and the reason why I say that is because in 2008, which is, such a long time ago, I bought my first property and I rented it out as a HMO. If you don't know what HMO is, it's house in multiple occupancy. So that means you basically rent out each room one by one. So if you've got 5 rooms and you charge £1,000 a month to each person, it's £5,000. So I done that in 2008, done that for a while. So that wasn't even my first business, but that was my first property business.
Okay.
We've evolved since then. In 2022, I set up my serviced accommodation business. So what was that? What are we now? 2022. 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Crazy.
Today.
Wow.
I incorporated the company.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so...
Okay,
4 years today.
Okay, cool. I think I'm slightly older. I started my property business in 2021. So that's like my first sort of inception into property. Now, obviously, knowing what we know now, which is obviously heckloads, right, versus what we started, what would you say is, and hopefully we can come up with different things as well, what would you say is the first major thing you would have done differently? I know there's multiples, obviously, but let's just say like the first early, like the most obvious thing looking back, like, I wish I did that. And why, obviously?
I would have looked at, in order to be successful in this business I'm setting up, what are the things that I need to learn? Education. So I would definitely draw for personal development because ultimately what you don't know, you don't know. And I think coming into this business, I came into it a bit blind. I feel obviously, you know, you don't have to know everything because along the way you're going to learn new things. But I just felt like I would have wanted to just, maybe learn what does a successful business look like, so then I can kind of build that out and mirror that out. So education would have been a big thing for me. Like, what does success look like in this business?
I co-signed that. 110%. Unfortunately, I didn't get any education. I really looked for it, but I just really didn't find anyone that kind of gelled with me. And funny, that's why obviously I do what I do now. But I think for me, one of the most important things that I probably would have wanted to do differently is maybe start closer to home and just take that risk of starting closer to home, being London for me specifically. I'm not saying that everyone else should start closer to home, because if you're up north, I'm not saying you should move to London, but it's just that where we are now in our business, knowing how much money we can make in London, all that time and effort spent up north in the West Midlands, mainly because I was scared and I didn't have that much money, I would have really just rather saved up a lot of my cash and start in South and then gradually go up to London, because it would have been a very different business. We would have been making the money we were making a couple of years ago, we would have been making then, right? Just off of what our London properties and our more central or more like highly occupied properties do. But then in the flip switch as well, because my properties were so far, it forced me to be systemized as well. I didn't have the luxury of a guest lost their keys and I'm traveling 400 miles to Bradford to try and sort that out.
And like we always say, there's always, well, my brother said this to me, always try and find a positive in a negative situation. So whilst you didn't start in London, like you said, you learned how to systemize your business. And people who have maybe never heard that word, what does systemize your business mean?
I think it's an organized structure of processes and people and electronical softwares and systems that basically help organize your business, you know, in my sort of for me, in a more kind of layman terms, I would just say systemize your business means you've put things in place that allow your business to effectively run without you. It's almost like you've created a manual on how to run your business. So if anything goes wrong, people know what to do, essentially. There's a blueprint.
Yeah, there's a blueprint on how your business operates. Going back to what you said, and this is why for me, I said, one of the things that I would have liked to have done is learn what a successful business looks like. Because if you did do that, you could have probably said, all right, what does a successful service accommodation business look like? It looks like having profitable units. Where is the best place in the UK that I can have profitable units? Where makes the most money? Does that make sense? And then you probably would have started in London.
100%.
And that's why, for me, there was a lot of things that I didn't fully understand, that I jumped in, that I wished if I did learn earlier or knew before, I would have saved time, I would have saved money, and I probably would have grown a lot quicker.
110%.
As well.
110%. So, yeah, I completely agree with you. I think my second thing that I would change is how I go about hiring staff. I think that is probably the most fundamental thing in my business today, right? The quality and the level of staff that I have right now, my employees, are the reason why I can spend, hours a week on my business, right? Before, I used to hire for experience. I used to hire for experience, your certifications and your qualifications. And I now today realize that is all BS. That is all BS.
Why is that?
Because it's
what have you learned?
What I've learned is that is a piece of paper. And especially in the type of business we are in, we are people facing, we are people serving, we are a hospitality business first before we are a property business, right? And because of that, you need to be able to connect and understand people. And a lot of people have this theoretical knowledge that doesn't be able to apply practically. And because of that, you don't know how to, interact and work with people in tense situations. What happens when a guest checks in and the property isn't cleaned? Well, they didn't teach me that in university. You know what I mean? Whereas when you understand how to manage people's emotions and expectations and be able to come up with a plausible plan, that's just a skill and an energy and experience that you developed. You know what I mean? So right now, what I'm hiring for and what I look for is culture. It's culture. Like I've said this a lot, and like Stephen Bartlett's 33 Laws of Business and Life was what fundamentally changes for me. Like literally, I read that book, I think sometime last year or the start of last year. And And I wouldn't explain it too much, but he basically talked about hiring for culture is so much better than hiring for experience, because when you hire for the mindset, like they're not working anymore. Like this is like their new way of life, right? Like my team have buy-in. When I say, guys, we picked up another unit, they say, yes, guys, I can't wait to see our new property, right? Like my employees will send me pictures of them watching Netflix and working on the business at like 2 a.m. at night, because that's what they enjoy to do, right? And I feel like by me hiring for the culture and the mindset is so important. Like even to the point, like when I do interviews, I almost nearly talk them out of the job.
Question for those listening again: when you say you buy from mindset and culture, what does that mean? So I'm now at home and I want to recruit a member of staff. Good. What does that look like? Cool.
So firstly, you need to understand your mission as a business, right? Where do you guys want to go? Because like if you think about like you're a captain, right? And you've got all your crew with you. If there's no goals, there's no mission, there's no destination, they're going to struggle to follow you when, you know, the waves get a bit rough. So firstly, you need a vision. Then you now need an ethos, right? Your ethos being like your massive impact. So like, what do you guys want to do? So like for us, we want to be known as the top property manager in London, right? Where like it's almost like a branded thing, or we say that Brightworks, right? That's our ethos, and our mission statement is to get to 100 properties, right? So you've got buy-in of the destination, and you've got the ethos of what we want to be as a company, right? Now, what's associated with that ethos is integrity, it's trust, it's accountability, it's ownership, it's innovation, right? That's our ethos. So now when I'm looking to hire people, I want to hire people that have integrity, that they can show accountability, that they can show innovation. So when I'm hiring you for the first week, I'm trying to see how are you displaying all of these characteristics that are in line with our business, right? And also the mindset. Like I always say, like my business isn't a family. We are a high-performing sports team, which means, using your words, we hire fast and we fire very fast.
Well, I was going to say, I've actually changed my ethos.
Okay.
So Freeman just mentioned, one of the things I used to say when hiring staff is hire fast, fire fast. And the reason why I used to think that, I think I read that somewhere, which is anyone can sound good or look good in an interview. But the reality is you're not going to know if someone's good or not unless you actually give them work to do and see how they cope within that environment. And one of my things was, let me just hire them quickly to see if they're good enough to know whether I can keep them or not. But now I've learned, hire slow. Take your time till you find the right person, as opposed to just hiring anybody. Because again, I've done that. And again, guys, it's, there's no right or wrong way. True. You just, along your journey of life, of business, through failure and trial and error, you build your own ideas, you build your own frameworks, etc. You try things that you thought might work. And I've just found that in hiring fast, I just hired anybody. Whereas now, like I'm looking to hire staff now, I'm going to take my time. And the reason why I'm going to take my time is because I'm going to try and understand, what do I really need this person to do? Like, what are your roles? What are your responsibilities? How am I going to know whether you're doing what you need to do? And then take my time trying to find that person, as opposed to, I feel like in the past I've been desperate. So because I've just hired anyone that sounds good. I've just hired them. So yeah, sorry. I thought I'd throw that in.
And I think that's definitely worthwhile. I think probably as like the roles and responsibility to get a bit more senior, like I think that's something I'll definitely apply. But I think for now, where it's like fairly entry level, kind of like I don't even necessarily even need them to have any Airbnb service accommodation experience. Sometimes I just look, okay, have you had any customer service? Have you done sales? Like sales people are really, really good in this line of business because they're very sort of client facing.
Yeah, and not to speak to people, read the room.
Exactly. That's the most important thing. My biggest frustration as an employer is when my employee asks me, what do I do? And I know that might sound crazy because like that's your job, but no, I hired you to fix problems. I've created this infrastructure here. Like you said, like, your job as a CEO is to create jobs, not do the jobs. You know what I mean? So that's like a biggest thing. And you'll be very, very surprised that once you do start hiring people, 8 out of 10, they already know what to do. They just sort of need that extra reassurance.
Yeah.
So guide people. I've got one, unless if you've got another one.
Well, I was just going to throw in there, I think one of the biggest things that I've learned or wish I knew before, the question was what are
the top things that you would change?
I would change. So I would change the role I played within my business. So in the beginning of my business, I was everything. I was customer service. I was operations. I was marketing. I was finance. I was every single role within my business I did. Because naturally you think, you know, when you set up a business, yeah, it's your business. You're meant to do everything.
Of course.
And I've learned that that's not a business. That is a job. So you've left your job
to go get another job.
To go and get to go and get a job that you don't necessarily get paid for now.
A lower paying job.
A lower paying job.
10 times more responsibility.
10 times more responsibility, 10 times more stress. Everything relies on you. So I would identify what needs to be done in the business. How do I make that part of the business work? And then, like we just discussed earlier, create systems, create processes of how to do that work, and then hire people who actually want to do that work. Because I didn't want to do that work.
But arguably, if I'm a startup, man, we've got teams, we've got full-time members of staff. It's just me. I've got about $5,000 to my name. I want to start this business. I don't have the facilities to now start hiring out and delegating. What would you say to those?
Yeah, I would say you do everything until you can afford to bring in people. But in the back of your mind, know that, set yourself a target. So in the next 6 months, I want this business to make enough money to allow me to now invest in people. People are going to, depending on what type of business you've got, obviously, if you're a service-based business like we do, it's people-led. So, you know, in order to grow your business, you can't be doing everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. And the moment I did figure that out, the business grew 4 or 5 times, bro.
Would you say that it would be best for people to invest in people first as opposed to maybe growing stock or resources or locations or respective of the business?
I would say people. From what I know now, it's the talent.
I agree.
It's the talent that's going to elevate your business, not you.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, as soon as you can, hire staff.
Yeah, I agree.
Because staff are leverage, and you build and grow a leverage. What do I mean by leverage? Leverage is where you can exponentially grow through somebody else, so you don't have to do the work.
100%.
And that is leverage. And again, I didn't know about leverage. And it's so weird because I've had so many different businesses, and this business taught me so much about leverage and the importance of it.
Just on that as well, another thing that I would definitely look to do is outside, external, or like private financing as well. I feel like I was very, very I didn't really understand credit. Right, I didn't really understand, like, you know, the terms of like borrowing and trying to like build, because I think that would also like massively help me in like scaling my businesses, because like money is obviously a big thing, right? And I definitely always say, before you start looking to borrow or to get credit, like prove the concept you're first with your own money, because you're never like, you can't BS me anything. You're never going to work as hard or going to force something to work as hard as when your own cash is on the line. I don't care if it's from the bank and you have to owe them and they've got the credit, you got your house on the line. The psychological aspect that it's just not your pounds. Yeah. Right? It's borrowed money. Right? So for me, it's like, once I sort of prove that concept by myself that I can do it, I feel like immediately, you know, once I've obviously systemized my business, I've structured my business, I should have like started looking at like outside investment, because a lot of deals and a lot of opportunities like fell through, not because I didn't have the systems or the processes to take them on, but I just didn't have the cash. Finance. I just didn't have the cash. And obviously, especially in my line of work, what I wish I would have done earlier is a bit of deal sourcing. So maybe basically deal sourcing is where you're a broker, you middleman between a landlord and a property investor, and you get paid anywhere from 2 to 4K. But I feel like in alternative businesses, I think if like your business right now is just sort of like steady cash flow, I would also sort of look to where you can make like one-off lump sums of cash. You know, whether that be bulk orders, whether it be consultancy, or whatever it may be, like just try to make a or a boatload of cash as a one-off to kind of help with the injection. That would have massively helped me in terms of like leveraging and also like growing my business for sure. Yeah,
I think the last one from me, and this one I always talk about up to this day, is as I started to make more money, I started to spend more money. We call it lifestyle creep.
Yeah.
So I started making money, new car, new yard, everything.
Knew everything.
Holidays, trips, the going out to eat, all of that stuff. And looking back now, I wish I did just maintain where I was at, because the money that I spent that could have been used or should have been used to reinvest back into the company to help the company grow a lot quicker. Like I've got a decent portfolio of properties, but I know if I, maybe didn't go and get a new car, or maybe didn't go and get a house where, the rent's double or start flying out everywhere, I would have had a lot more. And I feel like I wish I did delay gratification a little bit longer. Like wait till my expenses or my income is 20 times.
Yeah, you can't even touch your expenses.
Yeah. And I think that, I wish I knew that because I'll definitely be along.
But why do you think you did that maybe? And it's not just you, obviously a lot of people often do this, like, they now create a business, they're making an insane amount of money now.
Yeah.
Like the most natural thing is to spend it.
Yeah, I think naturally you spend what's in your pocket. And you also feel that I've actually worked hard for this.
Yeah.
So
Why
I
not
should
treat
spend
myself?
it. Yeah, and I think you should, but like anything in life, moderation. And I think I just got a bit carried away and just felt like you deserve this. But not realizing in business, the first 5 years are very important. Most businesses fail within the first 5 years.
100%.
And understanding that and thinking, actually, now is not the time to live a lavish life. Let's grind for 3 to 5 years. Let's not really spend unnecessary money. Let's just keep reinvesting. And then in 5 years' time, then you can live that life. And I know 5 years sounds like a long time, but it's really not. Like it's 2026, we're 20 days into the new year, time goes. And when you got your head down and you're grinding and you're working, you don't even notice the time going. So that 5 years would have, like I said to you, it's 4 years tomorrow, bro.
It's crazy.
It doesn't even feel like 4 years. So yeah, that's my last one.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think collectively we've shared quite like a lot of like, very, very impactful thoughts. I feel like a lot of people will appreciate. And I also want to just sort of highlight in all of this, guys, I don't think we're like regretful of everything, because if we hadn't have taken those steps or actions, we wouldn't obviously be here.
And we wouldn't have learned.
We wouldn't have learned, right? So I think the big thing in all of this is like obviously learning, like having like constant feedback loops in terms of how you can iterate and what you can do. Like even in another business I've set up, I've made like a separate WhatsApp group with just myself of anything new I've learned. I just put in the group chat.
Oh, nice.
I just put in a group chat. 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 And then my plan is to just basically like take loads of screenshots or just screen record it, put it into chat. I say create an SOP or a document list of lessons learned, and I now got this document here.
Nice.
Right. So just having like constant feedback loops and like conversations with yourself of how to improve, it's massively, massively important.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think for me, and I've said this on previous episodes, just really dedicating a part of your day to reflecting, like what went well, even better if, like how can I improve? What can I do to maybe grow a bit quicker? What can I do to maybe, I don't know, improve myself? Just reflection. Reflection is good. Just sit in a room, 10 minutes and just think. Just allow your brain to just think. And you'd be amazed at what comes to your mind. Like every day, the minute we get up, it's just noise, distraction, go. And we never really take the time to just sit with our thoughts and gather our thoughts and just allow our minds to let us guide us, you know? So, yeah.
No, I like that. Obviously, this is normally the part where we do a bit of a plug back, but I kind of wanted to switch it up and do something slightly different. And putting you on the spot, I've got mine if you need some time to think about it, but I kind of wanted you to give some advice either to your 4 years ago self, right? That also the people can also mutually benefit from, whether it be a statement, whether it be a quote, or whether it be a concept that you want to share that would have massively helped you. So people can obviously benefit from this as well.
Yeah.
I've got mine, like I said, if you want to.
I would say, like I said, I'm big on personal development because I always feel like what you don't know, and what you do know can help you grow. And I've been listening to Myron Golden a lot lately.
Yeah, you've been telling me.
Just really kind of plugged into his content. And he uses the framework ABL. ABL is an acronym and it stands for always be learning. Always be learning, guys. Like my thing is, you have 24 hours in a day. 8 hours is for sleep. 8 hours is for work. Try and dedicate some of that 8 hours to be learning. Because, again, what you don't know. And learning and the right piece of information can change your life.
110%. 110%. No, I totally agree with that. I think for me, my thing is just taking more risks. I feel like, and the reason why I say taking more risk is, and I say this to a lot of my mentees and my students that I work with, is genuinely, what is the worst that could happen? what's the worst? I was speaking to a guy the other day. He works corporate, and he's in a job. He said, like, okay, how long have you been doing your job? You're doing like 4 or 5 years. Are you getting paid what you want? No, not really. I think I could do a bit more. I said, if you start this business right now, and all hell breaks loose, and it goes absolutely tits up, and you lose everything, more than likely, even if you was to leave your job, you'd probably end up starting again with something that pays you even more, right? And I got that concept from Gary Vee, and it just makes me sort of understand that we're very risk adverse, and it's fear ultimately. And I'll just say, just try. Just even if you're just trying within your own means, just try, because you will just end up always regretful or always thinking, oh, I should have done that, or I had that idea, or I should have done that. Oh, that's literally what I was thinking to do about 5 years ago. Like literally, like the more and more you think about it, you have very, very little to risk. And especially for like our slightly younger audience as well, sort of like sub-middle age, I definitely think like you can always still reinvent yourself. There are people who are starting their lives again in their 50s. You know what I mean? So I don't see why you can't, especially if you're like sort of sub 40 or whatever. So that's just one thing that I want to talk about and highlight. Just like take risks.
Yeah, and
action.
I want to throw in there, because there are probably people sitting at home thinking to themselves, well, that's easy for you to say. But some people are just naturally risk adverse. But I would add to that and just say, feel the fear and do it anyway. Because no matter what you do, you're going to fail anyway. But understand that you only learn and grow by failing. And I tried to reframe it in another episode where I said, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Don't even look at it as a failure. Look at, if it doesn't work out, that's okay, because you've just learned how not to do it.
100%.
Do you get what I mean? So even if it doesn't work out, you know, that's not the route. Let me try another way. And eventually, if you keep trying and trying different things, you'll find a way to do whatever it is that you're doing, or you find a way to make it work. So guys, understand that whatever you do, you're going to make mistakes, but that's the only way you learn.
100%. Bro, that was solid.
Yeah.
That was sweet. But
Cool.
guys, I hope you appreciated this episode. This one really came from the heart, and you've just got a combined nearly 10 years worth of business advice. Next time there's going to be a paywall.
So, like Patreon.
Little Patreon for you guys to pay for this. But guys, let us know if you appreciate this. I really hope you can impact this in your lives, in your business, in your work, and whatever you do. Please, as always, guys, make sure you're liking, you're sharing, and you're subscribing. Make sure you tell a friend, tell your mum, tell your dad, tell his mistress. Please tell her.
She can help, man.
She can help.
She can help.
At least she might be an investor. As always, guys, love, love, love.
Elevate.